I've been in a lot of conversations with people on the right who've made this point. Like, well, you're not doing immigration enforcement, so ICE has been brought in to do it. And if you don't like that, then you got to have the local police cooperate with deportation. And we don't see this in red states because they're doing that job, and we don't have to bring in, masked thugs from out of state in the blue framing of it.
Yeah, well, in Minnesota nationally, I think we struggle to find balance. I mean, you do, in my view, need some form of immigration enforcement in this country. There was that alarming YouGov poll that came out, I think it was yesterday, with a pretty large amount of Americans, I think it was like 40%, believe that we should get rid of ICE as an agency. You need some kind of enforcement here. At the same time, we can't have ICE going as far as it has in recent weeks. And I think that's not a good look for America, where you have these militaristic scenes on American streets, Civil War-like scenes on American streets. And I think ICE being painted as perfect in the eyes of MAGA and Trump doesn't actually lead to the kind of real solutions we need, which is we need enforcement, but not illegal enforcement, which is what I think we've seen from ICE.
Hmm. Yeah, we see, I was listening to Rand Paul was on with Joe Rogan this week, and they talked about a lot of stuff of greater interest to me of prosecuting Dr. Fauci, which is, remains my goal. But I know, I'm living in the past, but that's all that matters to me. It's fine. I'm old fashioned that way. Well, I don't know. Trump's trying to prosecute everyone. James Comey, Letitia J, finding an excuse for everybody, but we don't. That guy, no, even though he created the whole pandemic in the first place. Neither here nor there. They got into a little bit of what we're seeing in Minneapolis, and Rogan, who is kind of an important in the middle person, someone who supported people on the left in the past, came around to supporting Donald Trump, but criticizes aspects of things Trump does. Is like, look, I do want immigration enforcement, but I don't like what I'm seeing from all this again strong thug-like behavior. And I know what Emma Jo, you're gonna say.
I'm sorry, Robbie, but you and Stephen have been doing the same thing. I'm so sorry. There's this middle class, there's this bourgeois kind of like decadence that comes with this commentary that I'm struggling with. The reason, first of all, that they're masked thugs. The reason why they're masked is because they're interacting with cartels. So they have to cover their face, because if their face is photographed and circulated among the criminal syndicates that they are breaking up on your behalf, they can get killed and their family can get killed. Second of all, the reason why there is conflict is because there is resistance to federal law enforcement. These people are in the country. These people are in the country illegally. I feel like I'm going insane. Every week that we talk about immigration, somehow I feel like my sanity somehow departs, leaves me. I feel like a looser grip on my sanity every time we have this conversation. They're not barging down random doors and taking people away like.
Yes, they are, Emma Jo.
No, they're not.
Multiple
they're
reports that confirm that. I know people.
Yes, they are.
You know people, Stephen? Who do you know?
There are people, friends of mine in LA, who have spoken about ICE randomly coming to their daycares and to their schools to randomly take employees of those facilities.
ICE is randomly taking U.S. citizens? Where was that reported?
So,
not your friend, where was that reported?
So what we're seeing here, I can't speak to their documentation status, but Trump campaign.
You can't speak to their documentation status, so why are you saying it?
Because what the policy was supposed to be, Emma Jo, the way the policy was supposed to be carried out is to focus on people who have criminal activity.
That is not
and I think we actually have some consensus
That's
there.
your version of the policy, Stephen, and that's my version. What Emma Jo is saying is that no, she wants them all gone.
It's not Emma Jo. It's ICE's role is to deport illegal aliens who are in the country illegally. It doesn't matter if they're professional cuddlers or if they're cartels.
Okay, but I agree with you on that, but that doesn't mean that we should, in my view, accept an unlimited amount of violations of American citizens' rights to get to that point.
There's no view, in my view. ICE has a stated job, a legal parameter within which it operates, which is to deport illegal aliens, not somebody who's only a drug dealer, not somebody who's only a rapist.
That's not what I was saying. That's not what I was saying.
It doesn't matter. Illegal aliens get removed from society by ICE.
By any means necessary, with no matter the other consequences to the rest of us.
It turns into that because they resist arrest.
Okay, so we're going to, what if we have to have guards on every street corner, and you and I have to go through checkpoints to get to our job? Like, I know that's like a thought experiment, but you would never get to a point where you'd say, okay, I would ease up on this a little bit.
Here's my thought experiment, and this is the thought experiment of MAGA, and this is the thought experiment of the people who voted for Donald Trump, the majority of this country. The thought experiment that we are in is the angel families in our country. That's my thought experiment. Nana has children. I don't know about Stephen. The angel families are my thought experiment. I am not going to be an angel family, and we have a law. It's done. It's done. I don't care. My thought experiment is this is a threat. It's a domestic threat, and we're done. That's mass deportations. That was what won on the ballot in 2024. So I don't know what we're talking about right now. ICE is too mean. And do you know who you're talking about? Do you know what Sinaloa is? Do you know what these people are who have facilitated this invasion of a free country, of our sovereignty? It's done. We're done.
The reason why I think you need a nuanced policy when it comes to people who are here illegally is because humanity, like human beings, are different. And so you have some people who are here in this country illegally, but are upstanding citizens and are productive members of their community. And there are also people here who engage in criminal activity. And you need a policy that accounts for that, because pragmatically speaking, you can't, if you truly want to deport over 10 million people in this country, you can do that, but that's not a country that I would want to live in, because you'd have what Robbie is talking about. You'd have that kind of military presence on a day-to-day basis.
There's no country on earth that doesn't enforce its sovereignty, apparently, except for Stephen's version of America.
Well, that's
I support.
I mean,
you can, Emma Jo, you can look back at my
some deportation. You're saying every single person who entered the country illegally, no matter the cost, no matter the effort involved. And
is the law ambiguous, or is it black and white? In word is like I'm confused.
I mean, Marco Rubio, among others, believe that there should be some
real world is we
here.
have a law, and ICE executes the law. That is what Tom Homan is saying. That is what Trump is saying, what Stephen Miller is saying, what JD Vance is saying, what everybody in charge of this issue who was elected by the American people, who pitched it and were elected on the premise that they were going to enforce the law as it was written, not in a thought experiment,
the law
and
does
not
not require
theoretically
them,
and not with sensitivity, but as it was written for once.